You are tuned to Anubhav 2.0 podcast from senior citizens, catalyzed and supported by the Ministry of Social Justice and Empowerment, Government of India, through National Institutes for Social Defense and Media for Community Foundation. The project is conceived and designed by Dr. R. Sridharan and supported by Ashish Tiwari, Pooja Murada, Sai Sudha, and Kaushalya.
கூடுங்கள் கேளுங்கள் நண்பர்களே, இளமையில் நாம் செய்ய நினைத்ததை முதுமையில் செய்ய இயலுமே என்று வாருங்கள் வாருங்கள் நண்பர்களே, கூடுங்கள் கேளுங்கள் நண்பர்களே. கோவைவானில் ஒன்றாய் கூடி சிந்திப்போம், கேட்போம், மகிழ்வோம், சிந்திப்போம், கேட்போம், மகிழ்வோம்.
Vanakkam listeners, today we are sharing an inspiring story from Colonel Achal Sridharan, a journey that exemplifies the true spirit of service before self, the motto of the National Defence Academy. This story is not just about him, but it is about the people, the places, the small beginnings, and the powerful impact of collective goodwill. From humble efforts in education and healthcare to fostering community development in and around Covaivani, this podcast reveals how destiny, divine guidance, and determination came together. Thank you.
Destined by God, my journey of embracing a life of service. Part 2. Sridharan School. Circa 1999. The New Indian Express newspaper had carried a story that the government high school at Sridharan near my house in Covaivani did not have toilets, and the high school girls had to ease themselves on the road. I was aghast and went to the school. I met the principal and he told me that there are no toilets for boys and girls, nor do they have a proper kitchen or midday meal scheme. I felt sorry for the students and the staff, but feeling sorry would not solve the problem. God showed me the way. I was developing a gated community named Paripurna Estates along with late Mr. Mani, my partner, who built my house as a contractor, and the land belonged to Professor Murugesan. That was how I was inducted into real estate development. One of the owners in Paripurna Estate was a widower without a child and had moved in from the USA to India. He had many medical complications, and I spoke to him about the school without the toilet. He was a philanthropist. He took a lot of interest and heard me completely. He told me that he had a fixed deposit of about 13 lakhs, which was to mature soon, and he would donate the money for the toilets and the kitchen for this school. I told him the problem was that there was no land for constructing the toilets and the kitchen in the existing school premises. He gave me a check in favor of Roundtable 62, which had a program for education and for creating infrastructure in various schools. The gentleman who donated this money did not want his name to be brought in public, and unfortunately he passed away before we could begin the school construction. I was honorary tabler with Table 62 of Roundtable India, and the tablers contribute a lot for education. I told them about this government school and how I had a gentleman who donated rupees 13 lakhs, but that was not sufficient if he had to build a new school up to class 10, which will also have toilets for boys and girls and also a kitchen and store. God was on our side. The table chairman told me that there is a matching grant program from Denmark Roundtable and he would try to get rupees 13 lakhs. Jayakumar Ramdas, the chairman of Roundtable number 62, got the matching grant, but the money could not be used for buying land. Now we have 26 lakhs for the building, but no land. You'll be surprised how Sundaka has a large number of temples. In fact, one for each community in that village. But it had no school with toilets. The villagers offered land which belonged to the temples. But I needed the permission from the Hindu Religious Charitable Endowment or HRNC department of Government of Tamil Nadu. I had made a small team of 7 members from the village to oversee the school project. 5 of us went to Chennai to meet the minister, secretary and others to get the permission to allot the temple land for this government high school. After 3 trips and unkept promises, we dropped the idea of the temple land for the school project. Somehow politicians do not approach or politicians do not appreciate such projects unless they see some returns for themselves. I was shown a piece of land of about 1.5 acres by the villagers which belonged to a lawyer from that village who had since moved to the Coimbatore city. Our delegation went to meet him. I told him that we wanted that land parcel which belonged to him through his grandfather. He agreed to sell it for rupees 3 lakhs. I told him that we had only rupees 1 lakh and in memory of his grandfather, he may kindly sell it for rupees 1 lakh only. A good lawyer, he agreed since he said it was for a good cause. Since we could not use any money for land, the villagers collected the money from among themselves to pay for the land to the lawyer. We got the land registered through a gift deed in the name of the Education Department of Government of Tamil Nadu. Plans were made in my office, approvals obtained from the Panchayat. The Panchayat President, Sri S.P. Velumani, who later on became a minister in the Tamil Nadu government, gave us water and electricity connection in 24 hours. The Bhumi Puja was done on an auspicious day with the round tablers and the entire village present. The Sundaka High School will now become a reality. The entire planning was done in my office. The supervision was by one of my civil engineers from my company and the village committee, one of whom was also the storekeeper. Every evening, the village committee, the site engineer, storekeeper, the contractor and I met under the tree where the village panchayat usually meet. I was not allowed to sit next to the panchayat president and members but on a chair placed opposite to them. This is because I was not living in that village and therefore I was not part of that panchayat. We took stock of the progress of construction, material management, labor, etc. every day. The committee nominated 2 young men in rotation as security staff from the village. I got the school furniture, lights, fans, blackboards, kitchen, dining room, storeroom for the kitchen, labs, library, furniture for the principal's office and the staff room, etc. We got 150 sets of plates, spoons, kitchen utensils, stoves, uniforms for staff, staff room with toilet, large spacious toilets for boys and girls with water connection, computer, administration room, sports equipment, etc. We also got books for the library, some donated and some from a US NGO. Finally, the day came for the inauguration of the school, about 1 year from the date of Bhumi Puja. The school was decked up with buntings, columns and huge lamp for lighting, flags, toranams, flowers, etc. The entire village came dressed in their best of clothes. Children were excited. Colorful shamianas were filled with people. There was a great feeling of having our school in our village. The villagers had invited two ministers from Tamil Nadu government, the district collector, panchayat president, the principal and faculty members of the schools, parents, etc. Members of Roundtable 62 and their families also came in large numbers. The ministers arrived and the program began with singing of prayer, Tamil Thai Varthu. The program was presided over by the chairman of the Roundtable India, Table 62. The village committees were in attendance and the senior-most village committee member welcomed everyone. The project report was read out by another village committee member and the principal of the school thanked the round table for their generosity. The panchayat president said that this was the best government high school in Coimbatore district. The chairman of Roundtable 62 gave his speech and said how they felt so nice to be part of this school at Sundaka-Muttur. Then the two ministers spoke, one after the other. They heaped praise on the then chief minister, popularly known as Amma, who had supposedly arranged the land and building for the school from the round table. They spoke about her vision and passion for rural education, etc. Most of what they spoke were untrue. I took the mic and asked a series of questions to the villagers to discredit the deeds attributed to Amma by her two loyal ministers. The villagers answered each of my questions by yes or no. Suddenly, one of the ministers came towards me with a shawl in his hands to honor me and, in fact, to make me keep quiet. I asked him to wait and asked the villagers if we should ask Amma through the ministers to upgrade this high school to a higher secondary school. The villagers shouted in unison, yes. I asked the ministers if they would make it happen with the blessings of Amma. They publicly said that they would. I told them that this could not be an empty promise since the entire village was present and the minister's word of honor would be questioned. They took the mic and promised to make the money sanction and upgrade the Sundaka-Muttur High School to a higher secondary school. Amma, the late Miss J. Jayalalitha, the Chief Minister of Tamil Nadu, and their ministers kept their promise. Government High School Sundaka-Muttur became a higher secondary school in the next 2 years. So many children studied in the school and are doing well even today. Our milkman sons got a scholarship and did computer engineering and went away to the US. I'm sure many more would have done well in their lives, as my connection with Sundaka-Muttur School was cut off once I left Coimbatore and moved away to live in the city of Coimbatore. Balwadi. Subbaya, our carpenter, lived in a village named Ramachettipalayam, close to Sundaka-Muttur. I am proud of Subbaya as he got both his sons educated from the same higher secondary school, Sundaka-Muttur, and made them engineers. Subbaya wore a white veshti or dhoti and a white shirt and rode a bicycle in 1995 when I commenced my second innings. He later on invested in a sawmill, got his sons educated and continues to be a carpenter contractor. The only change in Subbaya other than his age is that he rides a scooter instead of a cycle. One day he asked me to come to his village and see the Balwadi. It was a building poorly maintained and I saw goats, dogs taking rest with the babies or toddlers whose mothers leave the children in the Balwadi and work nearby. Most of them were working as construction workers. There was a kitchen in the Balwadi and the food was cooked using chulas and wood. The small kitchen was dark and full of smoke. I could see some lizards on the wall. It was pathetic to say the least. Since I was into real estate development, we had a lot of dealings with the Housing Development Finance Corporation or HDFC, and many of our clients had availed housing loan from the HDFC. I went and met the senior manager, Mr. Ramesh, who also was my friend as our children studied in the same school. I told him about this ball body and requested him to come with me and see its hopeless condition. Ramesh obliged and we visited the ball body the same week. Ramesh asked me to put up a project report with costings, etc., and promised to try and get some grant from the HDFC. I put up the project report and asked for rupees 1.60 lakhs to do up the ball body and the kitchen. Ramesh got me the grant from HDFC. With labor and engineer from my company, I got the ball body done up completely, including fence with a gate to prevent goats and dogs from entering. The villagers were very happy and they invited the district collector for opening ceremony along with Ramesh and a few of his colleagues from the HDFC. The collector appreciated our effort and I told him that the benevolence came from HDFC through Ramesh. Government High School, Kolathapalayam. The news spread about the school and Balwadi. There is another government school in Kolathapalayam village in Covaivani. The principal spoke to me about toilets and some additional classes to be built as the number of students in each class were more than the capacity. I approached Ladies Circle India, an organization by the Voice of Round Table 62. I put up a proposal for 3 classrooms with boards, table, chair, benches on the first floor of the school and a kitchen with store and 2 toilets, one for boys and one for girls. The Ladies Circle had a budget of only rupees 3 lakhs for the project and I assured them that any shortfall would be met by me. With my team and the school principal, we got this project completed. With this, all the government schools in Covaivani villages had classrooms, kitchen and toilets. Of course, the towering glory was the higher secondary school at Sridharan. God showed me the way and I could do the work with the cooperation of villagers, donors and my team from Covai Care. In 2001, my company, Covai Property Center India Private Limited, was incorporated with the Registrar of Companies. While my team and I did a number of real estate projects including constructing houses on contract, apartments, gated communities, commercial complexes, etc., I also ran a Reliance petrol pump for 2 years. In the past 2 decades, Covai became Covai Care, a registered brand specializing in senior living and care. Since our retirement communities depend on services from the local people, we adopt the village near our community. Children of our Covai Care staff are encouraged to pursue higher education. Residents of our retirement communities take active interest in teaching the children. Summer Magic was a special program by our residents in Coimbatore of my retirement communities for the children of our staff. New You is a club formed by our children during COVID-19 pandemic and is mentored by Srimati Raji Subbarayan, one of our esteemed residents who has taken so much of interest with the educating our staff children. Between 2010 and 2013, Covai created gated community named Gem Nirmalayam in Ganapati. Spread over 13 acres, it has 93 villas and 48 apartments, a club of 30,000 square feet with indoor swimming pool and open space reservation of 1.3 acres with trees and park and a tennis court with artificial turf. It is considered as one of the finest gated communities in Coimbatore. I set up a labor camp colony and also ran a school cum creche for the children of our construction workers. I had a school teacher and an ayah who would go and get the mother of the baby to feed when the baby cried. The teacher managed the children of different age groups by teaching them and keeping them occupied. I collected money for the school by selling scrap, paint tin, cement bags, etc. And with the money, we could also employ a lady doctor who used to visit the site and see the children and the lady patients once a week. The money for the medicines also came from the welfare fund collected from the sale of scrap. One day, a group of residents from the nearby colonies in Ganapati came and told me that they do not have a ration shop and whether I can gift them with one. I told them that I do not have land as the approval for Gem Nirmalayam has not left any open space for the ration shop. They said that they have a community land and the ration shop can be constructed there. They brought the local councillor who assured me of getting the necessary approval. We volunteered and constructed a nice ration shop. The mayor of Coimbatore, Colony Venkatachalam was his name, came for his inauguration and told me that this was the best ration shop in Coimbatore. It cost my company rupees 2 lakhs, but the joy that it brought to so many families who could get the ration from Ganapati instead of going to Gandhipuram, almost 4 kilometers away, was immense, and it was a great satisfaction to me. Adopting the NDA motto, service before self, in my post-retirement life has been a journey of continuous learning, giving, growing. It has provided a framework for making impactful contributions and leading a life of purpose and fulfillment. By embracing this motto, I have found joy in serving others. Perhaps it was that motto which made Covaivani launch the first senior living community in 2004, and we have been fortunate to create more than 20 senior living communities in many cities in South India. Destiny or fate, it had blessings of God. Jai Hind.
Thank you and stay tuned.